Okay. Okay, that was super weird. But I am testing, so this is not going to be formal, but it is going to be fun because I'm going to play with something. I'm going to play with NotebookLM a little bit while you're here with me. So feel free to follow along if you have your own NotebookLM account. This should be interesting. Open yours up, and if you're a coach, a consultant, service provider, then some of the prompts that I'm going to be experimenting with, you can experiment with too. Okay, deal? So I'm going to pop up. Let me tell you what was funny or interesting. So what I'm doing is I'm actually testing a couple of things. So I am testing because I'm supposed to be live on Instagram, and I wanted to make sure I showed up as vertical, and I'm using StreamYard to do this. I also wanted to show up on Substack, and I think I might be in landscape on Substack, but I'm going to double check that really fast here. And part of the reason I'm doing this is because I want to do a workshop for folks to talk about going live in multiple places. So I'm going to do a workshop for my community. And if you're interested and you need to know how to do this and you want a fun and very patient instructor, I will be that person for you. So more to come on that workshop. I'm going to do it this month, but I am testing. So I am actually live in multiple places. The only place I think I'm not live is on my Facebook page. I think that's the only place. So you're not going to see me all dutied up with all the right lights. I got a few lights, but I don't have on makeup, all that stuff. I'm not doing all the funky, cool stuff. But what I am going to do, this is cool. This part is cool, is we're going to play. We're going to play. And what I'm doing, just so that you know, hey, John, and I see Colette and my friend Chris Stone. Look, did I tell y'all I'm a fan of Chris Stone? Can I tell y'all that? Cast ahead, Chris Stone. Always, forever. Colette, it is wonderful to see you. Love it, love it, love it. I'm going to do something, I promise, that's going to be fun. And it might be helpful. There's my hashtag OG in the house. So look, for those of you who don't know, when I go live on Thursdays and do my show, Stream Like a Boss TV, my official show, usually what I will do is I will invite you to type in hashtag OG if you are someone who has been in our community before, you've seen videos that we've done before. But if you've never been here before and this is your first time, we want to give you a special welcome and greeting. And so you put hashtag newbie so that we know which category you fall into, right? So I love it. Mutual fan. Thank you, Chris. Okay, so let me tell y'all what I'm going to do. And I just popped up this idea because I was going to, I was thinking about doing this anyway tonight because I had a few minutes. I don't often have free time and it's really not free, but I had some time that I wanted to create some new content for the month. And I was thinking through what could I leverage because there's so many things on my plate right now. What could I leverage that I already have created and turn into new content for the coming weeks? And so I had this genius idea. What's up, Gabe? I see Lorraine in the house. What are we playing? I know, right? We're playing a fun game. Here, I'm going to tell you about it. Janae, Ahmed, look, all my friends. I love y'all. Sharon. Hey, Sharon Noblin. I just love that y'all are here. Look, and I'm just hanging out. Lavon, what's up? I love seeing y'all. Okay, let me tell y'all what I'm doing. Okay, so I was just playing around with NotebookLM because it's become one of my essential tools. It's like one of those things that Now I'm like, I don't know what I would do if I didn't have it. I'd figure something out. But I love, yes, Gabe, so much fun, so much fun. Lorraine, I am doing well, blessed and highly favored. Highly favored. One day I'm going to tell a story about something that happened recently. I can't tell it now because it's too close to me, but something that happened, because I do not believe in coincidences. But something happened this week that was absolutely a God thing. And when I say that, I almost want to tear up right now, but I can't share it yet, but I will soon. I'm sure I'll be able to share it soon. But yeah. So, Notebook LM, that's what I'm here to do. Happy Black History Month. Yes. Thank you. Back at you. Outdoors with, is it CT? Outdoors with CT or Connecticut? Not sure. What I want to do is I decided I was going to take my coaching calls for 2025. So all of my coaching calls from last year, I got most of them loaded up. But my coaching call transcripts, and I'm going to pull it up so that you can see this, okay? Because it's really cool. This is really cool. And then you and I are going to walk through some prompts. These are experimental. And we're going to see how to make this work. Now, there may be some names that will pull up. And so for my clients, forgive me. We won't put your business out in the streets. Let me say that. But you may see a few names here and there, and that's okay, because there's not going to be anything that I would ever show you that is super confidential in this Notebook LM. But what I want to show you is the process more than anything. So what I've done, and I'm going to pull this up, is I have created, and let's see if we can share a screen. I think we can. I'm going to move over to a different, because StreamYard has done something new with scenes, just like Restream and Ecamm Live. They've added scenes. So I'm trying to get used to these, but I think that I have it. Let's see if we can do a presentation over here. And I'm going to add the presentation, which is my shared screen. And I'm just going to pull the entire screen to make it easy. Okay. All right. So here's what I'm doing. I am going to make it a little bit bigger. And what I've done is I have created a Notebook LM notebook that has a ton of different coaching calls in here. It doesn't have them all because I'm still working on that. But my goal, my end game was I wanted to create something that serves as social proof, but also reminds me, and this is something you probably will get, reminds me of the breadth and width of knowledge that I share on any given day to different clients. Okay. Because think about this, as you're doing your coaching and your consulting and you're offering, you're doing your, you're serving people. Sometimes the things that come out of your own mouth are surprising. Sometimes you're like, ooh, I didn't even know that I was talking about that, right? So oftentimes I get asked questions that are actually outside of the scope of what I talk about that I do. And one of the things that I have not always been great at, but I'm trying to do better at, and tell me if this is you too, is I'm trying to do better at actually creating more case studies and more testimonials. And as I am developing landing pages, email content, and all of those things, I want it to be really grounded in truth. I want it to be grounded in provable situations. And this is the point with case studies. With case studies, you're basically saying, hey, this person started out here. This is what we did. And this was the result. Because what that does is it helps people to see what it's like to work with you and to understand the possibilities. And so I know that this is one thing I'm really doing better. I'm trying to get better at doing well so that it's easy for people to understand the value of what I bring. So think about that for your own business. Like, how are you showcasing to people the value of what you actually deliver? Because it's easy to say words, and anybody can go into ChatGPT, Claude, et cetera. And even before that, we could make up words. But we weren't always good at, I'm going to say me, I wasn't always good at telling the story and sharing with people, this is how I help. Right? So, one of the things, yes, exactly, Chris, case studies are so powerful. So, I'm going to share with you 5 prompts that I'm experimenting with in using this notebook. Gabe said, you can always put my business in the streets. Yeah. The other day on the live stream with your wife, you created a new word, enjoyful. I love it. Right? Janae, yes. So here's the thing, you can upload according to the limits of the particular platform or package that you have, right? So some people have free NotebookLM and it's not going to have the same number of sources that you can upload or notebooks that you can create. Some people have the next level and then there's a next level. So depending on what you have, what you've purchased and what you pay for, that's what determines your limits. But I have a built-in Google Workspace Pro version of NotebookLM. So it's fantastic. It does pretty much everything I want it to do. I've created my AI brain in there. I just taught a class, a training day with my Stream Bosses Academy members on how to leverage that, how to actually build out your marketing brain. And then we've done a whole lot of other stuff in NotebookLM. But this specific thing I wanted to experiment with tonight, like I said, I didn't structure this conversation for tonight or anything. I just thought I'm going to play with it. And then we'll see if anybody else has other ideas or if you can use some of the ideas that I'm thinking of doing for myself. So my goal was to take my coaching and what I literally actually talked about last year and turn those conversations into transcripts. Now, let me tell you, I'm going to back up a little bit and say this is where it starts. So it starts with the fact that you are actually coaching and working with people. Okay. It's kind of hard to do this if you don't have actual coaching conversations. So if you're brand new in your space, in your service space, and what you're doing right now is building up your clientele, there's a couple of things I want to give you to think about as you're collecting this information. One, you definitely need to have a coaching agreement. Okay. So you need to be thinking about this if you're new to the space. Coaching agreements allow you to be very clear about how you're going to use the content from those calls. And it ensures that you have this mutual agreement about what you're going to do with that information. If you're going to be using it for marketing purposes, if you're going to be using it as case studies, these type of things. So that's one. The second thing that you need to do for the setup is you need to have the ability to be able to record and transcribe those phone calls. So whether you're using Zoom or if you're using Google Meet like I do now, or if you're using Fathom as your note taker or any of the many, many, many note takers that are out there, it doesn't really matter, but you need a way to actually transcribe the calls. Okay. Yes. And Junaid made a really exceptional point, and I do want to put this up here because I think this is a very smart tip for folks who are very new to it. If you have not been coaching and you're trying to build up your social proof, one way you can actually do that is through doing free coaching. But even when you do that free coaching, you want to collect an agreement. You want to have an agreement. And part of the reason you want this agreement, even with free clients, which I don't do free anymore. I've been doing this way too long. But initially I did to build up my muscle of coaching and to make sure that I was delivering on the things that I said I promised to people. But in your agreement, which I'm not going to try to portray myself as an attorney, I will say I do have an attorney. I have a couple of different attorneys for different reasons. But in this case, creating the coaching agreement, I worked with someone to help ensure that I had the right wording in place so that we both are clear on what my standards are. Showing up on time, for instance, the fee if you don't, those kind of things are all built into that agreement. But specifically what I'm talking about for tonight's purpose is you're setting a mutual agreement on how the content's going to be used. So you need that. You need a way to record and to transcribe the content of the call. And then you need NotebookLM. So that's the recipe for what we're doing tonight. Okay. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share that I pulled these coaching calls in, and you'll see on the left-hand side of my screen, and I'm not going to blow it up too much because I just want you to kind of get the concept and not necessarily see all the detail of my personal calls. But the concept is uploading all of these different calls as sources. So these are coming from, in my case, the Google Meet notes and transcripts. Okay. So now, because I use Google Meet, every time I go into a coaching call, the number one thing I'm going to do is to confirm with my client. I'm going to be recording this, and the transcript and the recording will be sent automatically to you. So I change the settings for each of those calls so that it automatically goes to my client and comes to me. So within probably about an hour or so, it gets processed. And so now I have this notebook called Meet Recordings that has every single call, all of the transcripts that I've, activated. So I'm pulling those in. And one of the ways you can do this is if you're inside of NotebookLM, and just for purposes of you being able to see this a little bit more, I will make this a little bit larger for a few minutes. But see this right here where it says add sources? You can actually connect this to your Google Drive right there. And then you can type in Meet Recordings, and you can pull literally whatever calls that you want to pull or transcripts you want to pull into your notebook. So now, what am I going to do with this? Hi, Kimberly. It's good to see you, lady. Yeah, and Gabe, yeah, we've been doing this for a while, right? You know what your worth is. You know what your value is. And so you do need to charge for that. But I understand that there are going to be people that are newer and watching. And so I want to make sure that you have an understanding of this process. Okay. So it may work a little bit differently for you. Fathom, I love Fathom, Chris. I do. Yes. And I do love a pen as well, because sometimes when we're writing with a real pen, not sometimes, all the time. Like, I love to write with my pen and my notebook because I remember things more clearly when I'm writing. That's a psychological thing as well too. But anyway, transcripts are the gold standard for literally everything that AI can help us with. Totally. Okay. So when you pull those transcripts in, I'm going to give you 5 different ways that I've come up with that I'm going to attempt to use these. One, I already mentioned to you, which is I want to use these notes to create actual case studies. And one of the things I was doing the other day, which was kind of funny, is someone was asking me to create a keynote for an event, for a conference, a summit that I'm going to be speaking at. And I thought, you know what I really love to do is for every example of the things, the points that I'm making in this talk, I want AI to give me case studies or social proof in specific examples that I can use that are stories that back up what the point is. And so I was able to go into this coaching notebook and pull that within seconds. Okay. So that's one way you can use this, is to create social proof or stories that you use in your talks. Another way that you can use these coaching call notes is you can actually ask yourself, what are the top 10 questions I answered in the last year? Okay. So you can ask yourself, in fact, let me just put this in here. I'm going to see what it tells me. What are the top 10 questions? Let's type it in there. What are the top 10 questions? And even though I don't have all of my transcripts in here, I have quite a few of them in here already. I answered for clients last year. I want to create a library of FAQs. Now, I'm telling you, look, this is all coming to me as we're talking through this. check this out. Once it gives me this list, this is a good idea. What I'm going to do, I use something called New Oaks. Okay. So it's a guy named Ray who you all have seen me interview recently. And Ray is amazing. He's created Easy Site. He's created New Oaks AI. What it is a chat bot that can literally be embedded on any of the sites that you own, any of the pages that you have, if you can embed HTML, JavaScript, or any of that. But you can take that chat bot and train it on your entire business. So I train these chat bots in New Oaks on all of my stuff in my business. Like, what are my offers? Where am I located? What do I talk about? What are my fees? So I train it on those things. So check this out. What I could do is take this list. So it's giving me a list of them. It says, based on your strategy sessions and coaching calls from the past year, here are the top 10 questions. This is really awesome because this is like gold content. One of the questions that people commonly ask me, and so this is what I love about it, is that it's personalized to you and your services. Should I use Heartbeat School or Go High Level for my community and courses? So that was one of the content or the questions. What is the best workflow for repurposing my long form videos into social media clips? Yeah, I get that asked a lot. How do I create consistent AI images that actually look like me? How do I use Substack effectively without getting overwhelmed or confusing my audience? So when I start going through this entire list of the top 10 questions that my clients and others asked me in coaching calls last year, I now have a whole list of not only case studies, but content that I can actually repurpose and turn into individual videos. I can turn it into lead magnets. I can turn this into other workshops like mini courses. Y'all, I'm getting so many ideas from this. That's crazy. And yes, Kim, everything you can to absorb and incorporate Notebook. So I hope this is giving you some ideas to stew on because I'm thinking of this as we go. Like I said, this is a pop-up. So I love the ability to be able to, hey, Debbie, I love the ability to be able to take this and ask it questions about content that I've already created and work that I've already done. That is the bomb. Okay, so yes. So I'm going to take that top 10 list of questions and not only create other content from it, but I'm also now going to use this to train my chat bots to understand the answers to those questions so that if it is assisting or supporting other people, it can give them a partial answer and then direct them to additional resources that I have, whether they're paid or free, or direct them to book a discovery call with me. Hey, what? Okay, so that's one. Let's see another one. Oh, this is a good one. Where do people get stuck right before progress happens? Let me just see. I'm going to see what it says about this. Let's see. I'm going to ask it specifically about my video clients. Where do my video clients get stuck right before? And so now it's pulling from real life situations so that I'm not having to make this up. Like, I have the backup, I have the receipts to share with people about how this works. Do y'all get what I'm saying? Like, can you use this? Can you use this idea? Because I'm sitting here, my mind is going like, it's running with all these ideas on what I now need to do with this. So where do my video clients get stuck? So based on your calls, your video clients tend to get stuck in 4 specific areas. Oh, this is juicy. Look, number 1, the split identity struggle. Clients often hit a wall when they try to maintain 2 conflicting brands or safety nets instead of committing to their zone of genius. They fear looking flighty or losing authority. That is true. This in itself can become a whole new live stream video for me. This could become a workshop. Heck, it could become a lead magnet. Let's see, here's another one. The one missed step halt. Consistency often breaks down not because of a lack of desire, but because of a single friction point in the workflow. When a process relies heavily on manual memory or perfect execution, one slip causes them to stop entirely. And then it gives me the specific situation that happened. And then it tells me where the breakthrough happened. The breakthrough came from automating the trigger by setting up a recurring weekly email reminder to prompt the handoff. The friction was removed, allowing production to resume without relying on mental energy. So that was the advice that I gave her, and that was what helped. Y'all, this is a gold mine. Oh, yes. Okay, let me go back and I'll tell you the questions I asked it. So I uploaded the coaching calls and the content. And then I asked it, where do my video clients get stuck right before progress happens? And it's reviewing all of these different clients and it's giving me specific stories. Oh, this is genius. I don't even have to use people's names, but these are real life scenarios that I can now pull from and create new content from. When I tell you, I feel like a repurposing genius because AI has made things so easy to pull from actual real life content. So if you have been coaching for any length of time, if you've been coaching for more than a year, more than 3 years, Gabe, you said 7 years. For me, I've been in the business for 20 now. That's like a lot, right? I've had a lot of different iterations of my business, but that's a lot of content. So just imagine, I don't even have to just pull from 2025. I can go back. You can go back, Gabe, and say, hey, for the last 5 years, for the last 2 years, whatever length of time you choose, especially, this is going to be important though. Let me give this disclaimer. Thank you, Miss Raven. Hey, the disclaimer is this. We don't always just stay the same. Sometimes we change. So I haven't always talked about video because I didn't always love video, right? But what I do know is for the last several years, at least probably for the last 3 years, maybe a little bit longer, that has been my devotion. But let's say that I were going back to when I was a resume writing and career coach. I don't necessarily want to go back that far and start pulling that type of content in because that's not what I'm promoting. That's not what I offer. So just kind of think about what is the content that's going to support how you're serving now. And that's how far back you go. Okay. I just wanted to put that disclaimer in there. Let me put a couple of notes up. I love these. This is golden. I know. Yes, Sharon, because NotebookLM, I mean, even if I had none of the other stuff, this stuff it is golden. It's one of my favorite tools of all time. I'm not going to lie. Question, how is this different than loading my transcript in a project in ChatGPT? Because I do there. I love Notebook and I want to learn more. This is an excellent question, Debbie. And here's what I would say to you. I think, and it's kind of the thing that I was sharing with Stream Bosses the other day when we had our training day, and it's this. You can use them in different ways. You can use them both, but you can use them in different ways and find the process or the system that works best for you, okay? Because you're right. You could pull those transcripts into your ChatGPT project or your Claude project, and you then just use that as kind of your project folder where you're going back and you're asking these questions. The difference in my mind is the layout, the ease of being able to literally go and create my own library, right? I've got all these different libraries that are based on specific topics, and it's very easy on my eye to go and find what I need at once. But again, you could still do something similarly in ChatGPT. It just depends on how your brain works and how you prefer to consume the information. What I love about this is that not only so in ChatGPT or Claude, I'd have to have this project folder. it's not going to be super easy for me to see, like when I've created graphics or reports or any of the stuff that you can create in NotebookLM. So let me give you an example. If I were to create an infographic in NotebookLM, which is going to be different than ChatGPT, I'd have to probably go and rename the title of it so that I can go find it later inside of that folder that has a bunch of stuff in it. Over here, it's super simple for me to go, instead of me siphoning through a ton of different sources and chats, I can go over here to the right to my studio and find the exact infographic. The other thing that's really cool about this is that you can organize the resulting content. So whatever you're evaluating from your sources. So here's your evaluation right in the middle, and from your sources. And let me blow this up so that people can see this a little bit better. Okay. So here's your sources are all organized, however you choose to organize them. You're analyzing by asking it questions and having a conversation here. You're changing the settings to configure it a certain way. And so what I may even do with this is I may change the prompt to be customized specifically to say, hey, I want you to operate as a case study expert. And I want you to help me to analyze and use the content from each of these calls to further my business by creating amazing, compelling stories, pulling out key points and themes, generating frameworks, which is going to be one of my other prompts that I'm going to use in a minute. In fact, let's do that. Let's do that next. I want to do this and I'm going to show you something, but it's about the way that it's organized. Yes, Debbie. It's not so much that it does something so incredibly different, but I do love the way that it is organized. And I also love the way that I can create new content from it in a visual form, whether it be like you see over here, you see how it has the flashcards and all the other stuff of it. Like, I just love the way that it can actually organize this data. It can even create data tables, which I've just started exploring. And I am a big old Excel and pivot table type of chick. Like, I love that stuff. I geek out on that. Am I telling too much? Y'all are like, oh, she is not cool. But I love this stuff. I love this. Slide decks even. So think about this. Here's another way you can use it. It just came to me. We're going to use a framework in a minute, and I'll show you how I can turn that into an infographic that I then use with other coaching clients, right? But imagine if you were trying to create a pitch deck. You're going to create a pitch deck for promoting your business or for securing sponsorships or a loan or a grant. So you can use this information and actually show proof of the different results that you were able to achieve, especially if you have numeric results in here. Then you create a slide deck that becomes a pitch deck that you're using. Oh my goodness. Yes, that would be so much more fun. Okay, so I'm not really cool. I am such a geek. The difference between me being a geek at 16 and a geek in my 50s is that now I don't care. Like, I'm just going to fully own that. Okay, let's do this framework one because I think that's going to be fun. Let's do, and then I'm going to do a really simple one. I'll go back and do a simple one, but I think this one is going to be fun. So let's do this one. I'm going to ask it, generate give me, what are 3 frameworks? What are 3 frameworks? No, let's just ask for one. What is one framework I used consistently in my coaching when working with clients who use video to create authoritative brands? I'm just going to see what it ends up pulling up. It's probably going to say the BOSS framework. I'm just guessing. but it might do something else. Let's pull this up and make it bigger so y'all can see as it's working. It's thinking. And so it's pulling from these coaching calls. And now it's going to give me a coaching framework. It's like, hey, you did a lot. You were doing the most. Yep, it gave me boss. Okay. So it gave me the boss framework. It says, this is your signature system designed to provide clarity, content, and consistency. The acronym stands for, and then it reminds me of what it stands for, which I already know, of course. But then it says, additionally, you utilize the ABCs of video as a customer journey framework. Okay, I'm going to say, write out my customer journey ABCs framework. And let me show you how I'm getting ready to use this. And Debbie, this is what I think it does differently than it would do in ChatGPT or Claude. And look, yeah, exactly. Let me put this up. The videos you can create can be used for shorts based on your content for your YouTube and other social media. Yes, Gabe. And I am not a liar. I just try to be cool, but hey. Okay, so here's what it did. So it took my ABCs. It says the ABCs of video is your proprietary process for transforming video content into a relationship-driven customer journey. Its specific goal is to move your audience from lurkers to leads to loyal fans. I say this all the time, so it's pulling that information, right? So now watch me do this. So I'm going to say save to note. So I'm saving this as a note. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert this into a source, and I'm going to show you why. So this specific one, I'm converting into a source, and now it's going to show up over here under my sources. And the reason why I did that is because and I really didn't have to do all of that, but I wanted to specifically pull, in fact, let me do it this way. Let me try. I'm going to uncheck that. I'm only going to check the ABCs of video content strategy. And I'm going to say, create an infographic. Now, this is what I tend to do. And this is what I was teaching my stream bosses the other day. I actually keep a visual identity card available so that I always have the same instructions that I can pull from. So check this out. Watch what I do here. This is pretty cool. Okay. So I only selected the ABCs because we're going to work with that framework and we're going to create a visual that we can use with other clients. Okay. So what I'm going to do is when you go into infographic, notice how I clicked on the pencil. So you want to see that first. Okay. I'm going to keep it as a landscape version, although you could choose portrait or square. Doesn't matter. Actually, portrait would be nice if you're going to be using this as a document for working with folks, but I also like landscape for that purpose. Okay. I am going to say detailed in this case. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paste my normal copy, which tells it use my signature colors. Also, I want you to use a signature style that I always use with my infographics. Okay. Now, specifically, just so that you all know, one of the things that I've always, and hey, it's Black History Month. So in honor of Black History Month, I'm going to tell you a little mini story. And that is when I first started doing coaching and I first started trying to be in business for myself, figuring things out, I could never find any type of templates or mock-ups or stock photos that looked like me. They just weren't in my skin tone, which was one of the reasons why I started doing photo shoots. I started hiring a photographer to take photos of me so that I would be able to use stock photos or images in my brand that looked like me and looked like other people that were in my community. And so the same thing has just persisted throughout my career, that I want representation. Representation matters. When people see themselves working with you, it's easier for you to compel them that you are the right person for them. And I don't necessarily always see representation in everybody's stuff on everyone's stages. So if I don't see that, I want to be the person that represents. So when I create my content, you're going to see a lot of people that look like me. And so when I create my content copy and I'm putting together, for instance, this type of wording, I like to include, look, semi-realistic stylized character design, including Black women with gorgeous short pixie hairstyles, because I have short hair and it always does long hair and it always defaults to a male. So I add that first. That's my style. And I have that somewhere where I can easily and quickly copy and paste that into the infographic instructions. And now what I'm going to also tell it to do is to develop or design an infographic, design a graphic that portrays my ABCs of video framework. Okay. That's what I wanted to do, and we'll make it detailed. So now it's going to generate that. And when it comes back in a few minutes, I now then have not only the framework that's been pulled out from NotebookLM. It's like, hey, yeah, you've been talking about this, but now I can also leverage the graphic that it's going to create for me, which is bomb, right? It's even more extra. Now, could you do this in ChatGPT and Claude? Well, not necessarily Claude. Could you do it in ChatGPT? Yes. Could you do it in Gemini? Yes, you could. But just the way that this is organized and laid out with the 3 panels just really appeals to me. So you have to find your style. You could certainly do a lot of what we're talking about in the other way. Now, while that's processing, because I want you to see the end result, the last one I'll do, since I am way past time, but I literally just wanted to do this pop-up and experiment and show you as I'm experimenting. And I really have come up with a ton of ideas already that I need to get to work and implement. Here's a simple one. This is a really good one, especially if you are, now I'm speaking to some folks specifically that I have recently spoken to. I want you to hear me on this because you're trying to figure out, what is my niche? What am I great at? How do I talk to people? What do I solve? Okay. So what I want you to start doing is exactly what Janaid said earlier. You're going to give people free coaching, not forever, for a limited time. You're going to make sure you have an agreement. And in your agreement, what I want you to do is to ensure that because you're exchange, you still need to make sure that it is showing value, right? You want to ask for that person or those people that you are doing free coaching with, you're going to ask for their exchange of a testimonial, okay? Or you can ask them simply that if you're recording the case study or the call with them, that you be able to have permission to use their content as part of your marketing stories, right? And you want to be able to leverage their testimonial on your landing pages and sales pages, et cetera, for future clients. So you're going to ask for that in exchange for the free. That's what I want you to do. But the other thing I want you to do is I want you to really start paying close attention to the questions they are asking you. And anytime somebody's asking you a question that just rolls off of your tongue and you're like, oh yeah, well that's duh. Like I thought everybody knew that. If you ever find yourself saying that, I want you to make notes about that. If you're not recording it, I want you to go somewhere and jot it down with a pen, okay? Because then you're going to take that information and that's what you're going to plug into your NotebookLM. Okay, you can copy and paste it. Even if you don't have a recording, you're just going to type in the notes and you're going to pull from that. Okay, so we got our infographic, but here was the one question, the simple question I was going to tell you I'm going to ask. What misunderstanding do people have about your topic that slows them down? That's an excellent question. Even if you don't have any coaching clients yet, think about what it is you want to talk about and then put that question in play. Okay. I'm going to put it in a banner so that you can write this down. Okay. You can use this. Hold on. It says adding notes here. Okay. What misunderstanding do people have about your niche This is the one I want you to put up, okay? That's going to be the question you pop in there. Okay, you can put that in the chat GPT, Claude, whatever you want to use. What misunderstanding? That's an excellent question for you to then be able to get some potential answers ready, because then you start thinking about, okay, this is a problem that slows people down. How can I help them get the speed and the efficiency and get the solution that they want? And that's what you can talk about in your videos. Okay, so infographic. Thank you, Debbie. It is an excellent question. I have used that question. I'm going to pop up my little infographic and let's see what it looks like. Oops, I didn't mean to do that one. Let's pull the one that we already did and I'll try to make it big here real quick. Ooh, I like it. Let's see. I want y'all to see it too. So this is, yes. So this is actually my framework that I teach. And I have this old school PowerPoint slide that I use, but now I think I'm about to upgrade it. A is for attract. So this is certain types of video that attract. B is for bonding, educating, nurturing, and inspiring trust. C is for converting, helping viewers make informed buying decisions. And the D is for delighting, retaining, rewarding, and generating referrals. I love. Oh, yes, I will be using. I shall be using this. But you see what you can do in that, I think, Debbie, is one of the things that I love the most about NotebookLM is how you can feed it all this information, this real information based on your work, what you do, what you teach, your books, your workshops, your on stage TEDx talk, whatever it is you're doing. Then you can ask it questions and organize the outcome of your questions in a visual way, or using reports, or using flashcards, all kinds of things. It's magical. So yeah, this is why I love it. This is what I love it. Well, thank you. Thank you, Debbie. And like I said, I didn't plan on getting on tonight, but I was like, hey, what can I do? I got to do this anyway. Can I do this and have some fun with folks? So I hope you did have fun with that. What I will recap real quick for you is simply this. The most effective thing you can do when it comes to using any of these tools, it's not about you finding answers to things that you didn't already know, although you probably will get some of that too. What I found as a coach, because I'm a coach first, and that's the way that I attack things, right? I go at things from a coach first perspective, not a creator first perspective. But what I love about being able to create content that is serving people is that it can literally pull from what you've already done. You can pull from work that you know exists right now. It can pull from the truth of how you've already helped people and made an impact. And that's a beautiful thing, because social proof and referrals are everything. I love it when I have clients bring me other clients that are like them. The more the merrier, because I know that these are people that have carefully vetted to find me, and I also have carefully vetted them and say, yes, you're right for me and I'm right for you. And so they're bringing me more of them. Because there's somebody for everyone, but you're not for everyone, right? There's somebody. Okay, that's it. That's all I got. I was just hanging out and playing. And so I thank you for hanging out with me. And what we did basically is we just talked about NotebookLM and how we can pull in coaching calls and transcripts and turn those into amazing 24/7 content that lives on for infinity. Yeah. So now I got work to do, because now I got to go and pull the information I just shared with you and organize that into some of my landing pages and turn that into some case studies that we can use, and turn that into, I actually have a summit that's coming up Ooh, there's two things that are coming up since you're here. One, tomorrow, I'm actually going to be on with G Woman Media. So I'll be the first spotlight for their interviews on the Voices of Influence. So let me find their YouTube channel real quick here, and I can share that with you so that you can come and hang out. And then I'm also going to be on the AI Driven Business Summit again this year, which I'm super excited about. Okay, I found it. Let me pop this up so that y'all can find me tomorrow. We're hanging out. This is especially for women out there. So feel free to come and hang out no matter who you are. But I also just want to make sure that I point out that G Woman Media is a global ecosystem dedicated to amplifying women's voices, which is so important right now. In fact, why am I not subscribed? Let me make sure I'm subscribed. But yeah, I'm going to be on tomorrow for the Voices of Influence. So come and hang out with us. And I will pop the link to their channel here into the banners so that you have that. And that way you can come and visit with us. The other thing I'm going to be doing is the AI Driven Business Summit, which is going to be on School. So this is for tomorrow, in case you're around. I think we're on at 11 a.m. I know we're on at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. It's 12 p.m. Eastern. So if you can make it, that would be cool. And then the next thing is going to be the AI Driven Business Summit, which I don't think that it's .com, but I'm going to try it anyway. Let's see. Yeah, it's on School, AI Driven Business Summit. It's hard for me to remember these school addresses. They're always so long. Okay, so just know, here, I'll try to pop this in there for you too. She has 6.2 thousand members, y'all, which is crazy because she just started this up with her first summit last year. And I was so in awe of all the work she did. But her business is called Aligned AF and just so much high value. So definitely come and go to school.com, AI Driven Business Summit. And you can join us next week for that. And that is you can get an all access pass where you are hanging out with a bunch of the different speakers, including myself. We're going to have a blast. Last year, I talked about creating a 90-day live stream plan, and I gave away an awesome planner. This year, I'm talking about repurposing. So yeah, it's going to be fun. But anyway, I just wanted to say that since we were here and hanging out, to make sure y'all know what's coming up. I also switched over recently to ConvertKit so I can get my email act together finally. So I will be making sure that I send an update. I think I'm going to do something called the Saturday stream where I do kind of just like a little short video talking about, hey, here's what happened this week. Here's some lessons learned. Here's some things that you can do, some action items that you can take, because I love for people to have practical action steps that they can take away and do something with, not just listening to me talk, but something that actually applies to you. So that's what I'm thinking about. But if you have other ideas of things that you would want, because people are so bombarded with emails these days and newsletters, that I have been very hesitant. I know it's partially an excuse, but it's also partially that I'm kind of like, aren't people already overloaded? So I want it to be something that's of value to you. I don't want it to necessarily be a full out newsletter, but I want it to be kind of like a hey, what's up letter from me every week. So what would you want to see in that? I'd love to know. I am on Substack. Mel's Place. As a matter of fact, here, let me pull my Substack up. Thank you for saying that. As a matter of fact, we are broadcasting on Substack right now. So let me show you where I am so you can come hang out with me. I keep trying to pull it up and then I'm like messing up my typing. But yes, absolutely. It is one of my favorite places to hang out. So check this out so you can see me. It's like Inception. What's that movie, Inception? I can see myself right there. But yeah, here's my Substack. It's Stream Like a Boss TV. And so it's where I know, right? I do live streaming mostly, and so my live streams become articles, full out articles after I'm done, and I organize those and utilize the space for that purpose. So it's been a lot of fun. I can tell you for a fact I have not used it to the fullest, but I am on there just about whoops, I am on there just about every day, so you'll see my notes and everything else. So yeah, Mel's Place. I'll see if I can find you. Come follow me over there. And I'll find you over there too. Cause I'm literally live streaming. This stream is there right now. um, oh, Gabe, you're there too? Okay. Well, then I need to look on the calendar so I can make sure that I find you. I want to see you when you speak too. Yay. Okay. You want to see stuff that deals with AI Tanya in the newsletter. Okay, cool. Well, look, check this out. So the video that's showing right now on screen, this was my trademark reminder video. It was funny because a situation happened not that long ago where someone, I'll just say, had borrowed my trademark. I have a federally registered trademark for Stream Like a Boss, y'all. And so I don't play when it comes to that. And I have an IP attorney that I've had for many years because I am all about brand protection. And initially, way back after I was a career coach, I was a branding coach. And one of the things that I always fought, and I know I won't keep you too long on this one, but one of the things that I fought was that my name, Tanya Smith, because I married into this name, was so stinking common. Like everybody has this name. Everybody and their mama has the same name as me. And so when I was first trying to, get out there and break through the Google searches and show up on the first page, I couldn't show up on the first page because there were too many competing Tanya Smiths. Even now, today, there's one again. For a while, I was the one at the top of the charts. But if you put in Tanya Smith, you'll get somebody else on the first Google page, with some exceptions, right? But it was important to me to make sure that I protected my brand. So way back then, I connected with a branding attorney who I still, to this day, love and adore. And so when I saw that someone was using my likeness by using Stream Like a Boss, I had to ensure that the first thing that you got to do is you got to let people know I have the federal trademark, because sometimes they don't know. And you can go about that one of two ways. Either you can go about it being nice and professional and direct. And I did so because of who the person was. I thought, let me try to reach out to them professionally, heart to heart, and say, this is what's up, and I need you to remove it. The other way is you can go straight to a cease and desist letter through your attorney, through your law firm. And I didn't want to do that, but I wanted to make it clear that I have the trademark. And this is for anybody else who was thinking about using that name, because I have merchandise, I have a podcast, I have the YouTube channel, I have the Amazon store, I have a music soundtrack. Like I got everything with Stream Like a Boss because I did due diligence years ago to get the name trademarked, because I knew what I wanted to build with this. I wanted it to become an empire, a branding tool for me. And so what I did with this video that you see is popping up, it's on some of my channels. I ended up here. Let me pop it back up again so you can kind of see it in the side way. I was not ready to actually create a video that day because I was just looking tore up. So I used my video clone, my AI clone, to help create a quick and professional video. Isn't that the bomb? And so I told her, this is what I want you to say. And then I produced it and put this out here along with some other messaging about it. So it was clear that I was making the announcement about my federal trademark, which I've announced before, and I have the R on everything. But because of the situation, I wanted to ensure that it was everywhere. So I quickly made this video using my AI clone. For me, that was a beautiful use case for something like that, because I don't want to do AI for all of my videos. I want to be the person that's talking to you. But having a clone made that super easy. So anyway, enough of that. That's all, y'all. Thank you for hanging out, even though we're just hanging, just talking a little bit about everything. What I'm going to start doing is I'm going to have to start sending out a notice, like when I do these pop-ups. Don't be surprised if some of you OGs, you're going to get a messenger note or Instagram note that's going to say, hey, if you want to pop up on screen and come in the background, like come through the back door and pop up on with me, here's a link. So Gabe, Chris, don't be surprised, Debbie. I might send you an invite next time I do a pop-up and see if you want to come on too. Okay, y'all, that's it. Thank you for hanging out. And I hope that you did get a little something out of this. If nothing else, we just spent a little time together, didn't we? And sometimes it's just fun to get away and just, I don't know, hang out with people that you know, like, and trust. So I appreciate you for that. And I will see you on, do we see each other on Thursday? We will not see each other this Thursday. So that might be a reason why I'll take the content we talked about tonight and repurpose this potentially into a video, like a polished video for you, because this Thursday I do have a duty as one of the leaders for the Dames of North Dallas. So if you happen to be in North Dallas and you're looking for someplace to hang out and you're a powerhouse woman who's making 6, 7, or 8 figures, you need to come and hang out with us, my crew, the Dames, right? Check it out. Just send me a DM if you would like an invite, and I'll send you a personal invite so you can come. But I need to be there, so I won't be here on the stream on Thursday. But I will be back this week. So, yes, sending you love too, Dr. Stacy Moore. Thank you. All righty, y'all. Hey, if you have ideas on what you want to see in the newsletter, Gabe gave me an idea, so thank you. Send them to me or pop them in the chat, and I'll look for those comments, okay? Take care, and you'll have a beautifully abundant rest of the week. Take care.